Zane Richards being seeded number 1 at this weight class is an interesting seeding. The last 2 times these two wrestled, Suriano teched him, so no one expected this outcome. Most were speculating between him and Spencer Lee, and so when Lee dropped out, Suriano winning this tournament was all but a formality. However, Zane had other plans, pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the tournament in a rather uneventful match, to be honest. In the first, both stayed in good position, I guess, staying out of any deep ties, not committing to, well, anything. You mostly see safe fakes, wrist control, light snapping. Suriano gets put on the shot clock early at about the 1:30 mark, doesn't really try to get anything going, and so Zane is up 1-0 with a minute left in the first. Nothing eventful happens for the rest of the period. At about the 2-minute mark in the second, Zane does a fake arm drag on the left and then immediately dives for a lefty single from space. An okay setup, but there's not much to this shot. Zane dives, doesn't penetrate well, and so he's too far away from the shot to get there anyways. As he does that, he breaks out of his stance and falls to a front headlock position. It's really important that you add as much to a setup as possible. 3 elements to a setup are more difficult to react to than 2. Something like a fake drag, fake lefty single, then a righty single would be much more effective, let alone doing a good penetration step so you can get to the shot when your opponent inevitably starts to defend and move away. Suriano sprawls like he should, catches the outside leg when Zane comes up to his feet, and ends up just driving him out of bounds for the push out. From a shot like this, he could change direction and try to run the pike, which may set Zane to his butt and give Suriano 4, or allow him to cut cross to a double for a takedown out of bounds, maybe 4, who knows. Score is now 1-1 Suriano. If the score is tied, the last person to score is winning by criteria, unless there's a higher impact score coming from the other side, and if that's still tied, if a caution is involved. When they got back to the center, the ref displayed a caution as well, bringing the score 2-1 Suriano. Now, if you're driven out of bounds and you don't display enough intention of staying in the mat, you can get cautioned, giving up another point. Zane did face away from Suriano a little and kind of just let the push out happen, which is why this point was awarded. A little controversial, I guess, but I can understand the ref's judgment here. Minute to go in the match, Suriano gets a push out from the underhook position. Zane fails to stay inside of the mat again, almost giving up a double as he circles right here, but settles for the push out, giving up another point. Score is now 3-1 Suriano. Despite the lack of attack, Suriano is doing a good job controlling the mat space and attacking when he smells blood in the water. 30 seconds to go in the match. This is where things get a little juicy. Suriano takes a random shot from space, no real setup. Zane snaps, circles to the right, grabs an arm drag with his left hand, and circles right behind. This is strange because this is a very weak go behind. No fakes, snaps, changes of direction, nothing. Suriano just reaches for the leg, not trying to control the arms or do anything else to keep Zane out in front of him. He did have an opportunity to grab the right elbow right after the shot failed, but he didn't go for it. Instead, electing to just reach up for the legs, which the arm drag counters fairly easily. It looks like Suriano is going to start standing up, so Zane tries to pull him right backwards, and so Suriano bails to his stomach. This is not a terrible idea to bail here. He must have felt off balance. Coming up to his feet and falling backwards would have given up 4 feet to back, so bailing and giving up a takedown gives him more room to come back to win, which he ends up not being able to do. I feel like I'm being a little critical here of these two, but there weren't many good setups, fakes, or any good combinations all match. They both played it super safe, which is really boring and not something I expect at this level. I'm glad we have Gilman, and I think we all wish we got to see Spencer Lee make a true senior level debut at this weight. He wrestled a few matches but dropped out in the semis due to injury again. Maybe next year when he's 100%? I really hope he's not done completely. A note to Spencer, people aren't mad at you for making these decisions. They're mad that they can't get to watch you do your thing.